Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I agree with you. I applaud these frontline officers, I really do. I don't know if you heard, but yesterday in the Police and Crime Committee, it was explained that attacks on the police have been on the rise, unfortunately, in the recent months. And indeed, black officers were attacked apparently more vociferously during the recent protests. Now, Sir Steve Howes was very clear that a portion of these attacks came from the Black Lives Matter protesters themselves. You mentioned earlier in your responses to Assembly members Berry and Duval that you want Londoners to have trust and confidence in the police. But do such attacks not suggest that there's a long way to go to achieve this? And would you commit to look into why these officers are attacked in such a way and provide them with the support that they need?
Yeah, thanks for your question and the way you raised it and what you're concerned about. And so I was really distressed when I spoke to black officers, I think during the first Black Lives Matter protest, I think it was midweek, I think. And what was distressing, in addition to the abuse and violence our officers faced, unacceptable, was when I was told that black officers were being verbally abused and attacked by those on the Black Lives Matter movement protest. And so, we're doing all this hard work to recruit black officers, to keep them, to progress them, and yet members of the community are giving them a hard time for joining the police service, and it's really difficult. One of the things that the police service are doing is, as you know, a big advocate of, is the welfare of our police. So what the police have done is to make sure these BAME officers are given additional support and welfare support in real time, because it really is distressing. And so I think you're right, we've got to learn the lessons from this, but also I think by talking about it, we've got to make sure Londoners appreciate it's unacceptable to attack our officers, either verbally or doing other things, and that includes our black, Asian, March ethnic officers.
Absolutely right. And I would ask you, as Mayor, will you please make it clear that our police and the police in the United States are very, very different in terms of approach, tactics, and actually their general relationship with the public, because we all need to do everything we can to stop the police being regarded as the enemy in many communities. And as our leader, Mr. Mayor, I would beg you to actually make that clear.
There's not much of what you said that I disagree with. I think we've got to recognise that in our city, in our society, our police are very different from American police officers, not least in relation to the vast majority of our officers are unarmed. We police by consent. We've not got the examples, thankfully, of the brutality you see in America, but there are examples of disproportionality, and the police take them very seriously, the concerns the public has. You've heard in answer to the previous question, me talking about the steps we're taking to address concerns that Londoners have around disproportionality. So I don't say, and nor do senior police officers who are perfect, but we're a million miles away from some of the police forces and examples you see in America. That doesn't mean I'm trivialising this concern people have around racism, inequality, discrimination. What I'm trying to say is that our police work really hard to earn the trust and confidence of Londoners, and will continue to do so. And I think our action plan is one where we can rebuild some of that trust and confidence, particularly in some communities.
Well, I hope so, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, Chairman.